Good morning, everyone. It's August the 21st, 2023. It's 9 o'clock. And our public notice was issued for our initial Commissioners Court budget hearing for the year 2023-2024. We will have roll call as our first item by our county clerk, Mary Jane Gabriel.
Good morning,
Good
Judge.
morning, Mary Jane.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning.
Judge Rathmel,
Present.
Commissioner Mendoza,
Present.
Commissioner Morales,
Present.
Commissioner Solis,
Present.
Commissioner Garza.
Present.
We have a quorum, Judge.
Thank you, Mary Jane. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, is any members of the public sign the sign-in sheet that wish to address the court? And I think I see mostly department heads here, so did all of you sign in, so we can have some order as to who we call on first? There's no sign-in sheet. Can we get a sign-in sheet for them? And yes, we'll pass it along, and that way we can call you up while the department heads are signing that sheet. Just an overview of the budget for the taxpayer purposes. There was no change in our tax rate. We did see some substantial increases in our costs for our benefit packages. Our insurance rates went almost 10% higher on an individual basis, so that had a substantial impact on our budget. Of course, our retirement cost increased somewhat also. We did, as part of the budget, proposed budget, I did, just because of the increase in inflation and the overall cost of living, for the entire community, and especially our employees, I did consider a cost of living increase for the employees. The majority, I guess the exception would be our county auditor, who's not included. He has received substantial increases over the years, so I did not include him. I think everyone else, we did include which amounted to about $1,000 yearly increase on their salaries. The proposed budget, capital outlay, we had very little to spend. We were informed, I was informed by our IT director, Mr. Garcilaso, that our phone systems in the courthouse and throughout the county are outdated. They're not supported any longer, and I did ask him to quote me some amounts that we would be required to replace and upgrade the servers, including the phone systems. So we got about $100,000 capital outlay for that. We got, of course, that walking trail as part of our golf course purchase that we do need to finish. We still have $100,000 in the grant that we can use for that, and this additional funds, hopefully we can finish that project. And basically, I guess a vehicle for the environmental service was the only other addition. I did increase for, the costs keep going up for travel, so almost every department, I think every department saw an increase in travel. Even with those increases, I was able to reduce our budget deficit. For this year, we had, going into the 22-23, we had about $1.2 million in deficit spending that we had to make up with our fund balance. We are bringing that down with this proposed budget to about $900,000. So even with the increase in costs and increase in spending, we're still, trying to reduce our overall dependence on our fund balance, which, speaking with our county auditor and our consultants, I think that is one thing that is kind of holding the county, I wouldn't say hostage, but it is a problem, and we should try to reduce our dependence on our limited fund balance. The other funds, road and bridge, I think it's almost to the penny. I think we've got maybe $4,000 in overage that from our expected revenues and what our expenses are. Water plant also, those two departments have to spend as they go. So whatever revenues they saw is one of the expenditures that are gonna be outgoing. You know, there was a decrease this year, and that may be a troubling sign in the amount of revenues that are coming in to the water plant from the previous year. And at the same time, costs are increasing substantially for chemicals, for equipment, for personnel. You know, we were able to balance the waterworks department with moving some of their loan payments, some of their to our interest and sinking fund, to our debt service fund, and that allowed the waterworks to come in and continue with and contribute to their employees' salary adjustments, but also balance their budget. But it is becoming difficult. I was speaking with the waterworks director, and he tells me that may be something that the court may have to consider in the upcoming months. Of course, there hasn't been a rate increase for many years now, and that may be something that may be necessary for that department to continue to be solvent and continue to be providing all the necessary infrastructure for our community. So looking at that, also included in the budget, of course, is like I mentioned, the interest and sinking fund. We've got you know, a substantial amount of debt that the county is continuing to fund. Most of it is through our waterworks projects that we built over the past few years: a new water plant, new sewer plant, different types of improvements that we made and of course there's some, we issued some new bonds in 2021 for equipment and the purchase of the golf course. That's included. Our road bonds, which we funded back in 2005, I think we've got maybe 1 year or two left on that debt service, and so that should free up more than $1 million of debt service in the next coming years, and that should be helpful in moving forward. Other than that, we've got Operation Lone Stars included in the budget. There's substantial funding that the county has requested and submitted for approval for this year's funding. And one thing that I did not include, because I wasn't clear, and I saw the sheriff coming in, was the Senate Bill 22, and for the public, Senate Bill 22 with the help of Representative Deanne, increased funding for Sheriff's Department, mainly in rural counties. And depending on your population, you would receive additional funding. We fell into our section was the County Sheriff's Department would receive an additional $350,000, and our County Attorney's Department on the prosecution side would receive $175,000 for personnel mainly, and it could be used for equipment. And I've been speaking with the sheriff on this and see how we can help our sheriff, mainly the sheriff deputies, patrol deputies, and our detention officers who are, you know, quite frankly underpaid. There is a limit though. There's $350,000, and in order to qualify for the grant, you have the minimum salary of a patrol deputy would be $45,000, or a detention officer would be $40,000. And as you know, talking with the sheriff, we've got we've got 34, I think, detention officers that would need to, that would qualify for that raise, but we'd have to bring each one over $10,000, so the entire $350,000 would be taken up just by our detention officers. So we've got a meeting with the Comptroller's office to see if we can help part of the department, or if the court is willing to help the entire department with extra spending that would increase our deficit. So these are things we'll have to consider, but certainly the help is much appreciated from the state, and certainly I think the very least our patrol officers will be earning a minimum of $45,000, which is very good pay for them. So we look forward to include that, Sheriff, and then you can come up and talk about that. Other than that, I think we've got the list. We can start with department heads and see you know, I think the way it works, and for the new commissioners that are here, we'll entertain, any changes, the court will entertain any changes, to the budget, from department heads, and then, we will write them down and then vote on them at our regular scheduled meeting on September the 11th. And then those will be either added, deleted, or any changes to the budget will then, the court will have a final approval on any changes. So you got the list, we can, is the list ready to, I can call on, or we can just go, Sheriff, do you want to be first?
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning, Sheriff.
Morning.
Elected officials.
The sheriff is on page 26. Yes.
Judge, the changes that you proposed on the different, areas for the sheriff's office, all are okay with the exception on 5, 6, 7?
5, 6, 7.
On the rentals, I believe we're missing 19.5. Everything, all the changes and everything that were,
Okay, yeah, the 5, 6, 7, because OLS allows for rentals, and that, I thought maybe we could, in order to help balance our budget, you can use some of those funds and
Okay.
help, our local taxpayers out a bit.
Yes.
And shift some of your money from OLS to those line items.
Oh,
And
oh.
that was the reason behind that, Sheriff.
okay. I'll go ahead and change that. Everything else, Judge, the food needs, you granted the
jail,
change,
yeah.
everything's good.
Yeah, of course, like all the costs have been going up, so this year we went on the county jail from, prisoner meals from 80,000, we're trying to budget 100,000.
Yes.
Now and that's very understandable, and certainly you've had a, pretty, full jail unfortunately, but unfortunately also, you
It
can
costs
get it
money.
both ways,
Yeah.
that's understandable, and on the regional jail, we went from 250,000 to 300,000 in prisoner meals, so, and of course, that's just large part due to inflation and the increase in costs. Other than that, I think travel and training also went down a bit
Yes.
from your jail, but I think that you have the flexibility of those grants to
Yes,
use.
we're gonna count on those grants to offset that. Judge.
Right, yes.
We did get the compliance, we passed the jail.
Yeah, I saw that.
And also, we should be in an average of, for the year, about 2.7 million, 2.8.
That's, I did, on the revenue side, and just to be a little bit conservative, I went with 2.4,
Yes.
which I think is very doable.
Yeah.
I think I think we need to be realistic. I mean, you had a very good year, but things can change from year to
Yes, sir.
year, so.
And, well, I know we're short on the deputies and the jailers, it'll be close to 180,000 that we're short.
Right,
So
and
we'll-
I think,
On the phone call today, we'll see what we can do to follow SB
yeah,
22, what else we can do.
I mean, certainly that will be your call on as to how you wanna, use those 350,000. But, yeah, it's difficult not to address the deputy, I think patrol officers first.
Right.
And the jailers, I wish we could address all of them, all 34, to get them up to the $40,000 minimum. But that would certainly, put a burden on the county if we increased our deficit another 200,000. So
I will try to
hopefully,
look-
the governor's office can help us with that. I think,
I will try to look with, or speak with any other counties that will not be using funding, or reach out to different sheriffs and see if they'd be able to do some type of MOU or something, because of the turnaround, so we can hold on to these great employees. And, we are receiving new units, they're in the process of arriving here soon. So the trucks from the SO, I'll be splitting them up to the commissioners and the waterworks, anywhere I can help to help out the county with the
Okay.
vehicles. Of course, they need a little bit of work,
Well, yeah.
but we'll try to do our best.
They're all low miles.
Yes. But other than that, that's it for me, Judge.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Thank you,
sir.
Whoever wants to come up next, we have no,
Judge, I
Okay,
have
Jane.
one. Okay, I'm on page 8 on elections. We have an unfunded mandate.
page, what page?
I'm on page 8,
Page eight?
yes. The state has an unfunded mandate. We are now required to be open more hours. You know, we have to be open on Sundays and additional hours on the second week.
On Sundays?
For elections, for elections.
Oh, for election.
For
Oh,
elections.
for elections, okay.
For elections. Mhm. Yes, it's elections, I'm sorry. Yes, on
Oh, yeah,
4
for
to
the
6.
election. So with the
Yes.
election expense, we
I
have,
could, you think we could add an additional 10,000 to that?
well, you're at 40, you always,
Yeah,
you
it's-
spend the entire amount?
Oh, yes, because it's not just for salaries, it's for election equipment, you know, the maintenance, the licenses, you know, the salaries and everything else. It's not enough. The one November election that we had last year, we were actually under about $12,000.
Yeah.
That was one election only, and we have,
The,
we're gonna have at least 3 elections coming up with this budget, because we'll have the November election, we'll have the primaries and possibly runoffs. So
Okay.
that's why I
so
believe we're gonna have
there's
enough.
for an additional 10,000?
Yes.
Under election.
And I'm not sure that that's gonna be enough, so I'm gonna be as conservative as I can and, you know, try to save as much money as we can.
Okay. All right, we'll consider that.
Thank
That's
you.
the only thing we need?
I believe so.
Okay. Ms. Delia, yes?
Morning,
Tax
Judge.
collector, morning, Ms. Mendoza. What
Um,
page are you on?
18.
Okay, the only thing that I have, Judge, is an invoice that I got that I had not included.
Okay. Oh, yes, you provided that to me this
Yeah,
morning.
for this solution, that's also for, the maintenance on the, equipment that we're using for the elections.
And what's the total on this? I didn't total it up.
It's 5,125, I believe.
So you need like $5,000 more for, equipment maintenance?
Yes.
So from 25 to 30? Or is that, yeah.
For what equipment is that? For,
This is solutions
Oh.
for the.
what, the scanner?
So, but is that like, is that 25,000, that's not a set, you just use that if you need something breaks, right, or?
This is 5,000.
No, but the 25,000 is already allocated. Yeah, I mean,
Under equipment maintenance, they gave it.
are those set contracts, or just in case something breaks that you need to?
No, there's, I don't know, since they've changed these around some, on the, equipment maintenance. There, it's also for our packs, for our collections. The 25,000, or I think it was, 25,000. It went up from last year. 16,000, it went up 5,000. That was just for the packs. This is for, saving all of the maintenance on the registered voters.
Yeah, because in 2022, we were at 16, I guess that had been the amount, then this year we went up to 25, and now for 24, you wanna go up to 30.
They went up again. The support on for all the equipment on the collections.
Okay.
And this one is on the voter registration. We had included it, when we paid it, it was paid out last year. I don't even remember, almost 20,000 that we had to pay. But we did it in payments. And this is just for the maintenance, for the upkeep.
Okay, okay.
All right,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
Ms. Mendoza. Next, anybody? Ms. Ramos, yes, go ahead.
office, it's about you,
Okay?
okay? Judge, I hate to ask, and I've never asked for me before, it's always for my clerks and all. But, in the 16 years that I've been in office, I took this job knowing what my salary was going to be, you know, back in 2007. But Judge, I have had a salary increase of $354 in 16 years.
All during all that time, I know.
And I know it's hard for you all to make decisions and to give us a, you know, a raise or whatever, but we also have a cost of living, you know? And, if I would ask you for $500 today, I know you would say yes, because I think you would say yes, because that's on why. But I should have started in 2007, asking for $500 over and over and over and over,
Yes.
it wouldn't have been so much. So, my job is a full-time job, I don't have the luxury of having another job, you know, this is my only salary that comes in. And I know that you know that, I've talked to some of y'all before.
Yes.
But I struggle, and as most of us do, I know that we all do. But I'm here today, I'm going way out on a limb, and I think it had been done before. But I'm asking for an $8,000 raise, an adjustment to my salary from 42 to 50, I'm sorry.
To get you to,
Yes.
you know, and we certainly have had these conversations, and yes, so I think, all elected officials over that time, the exception of the sheriff, have gotten $300 over the last 15 years in raises.
354 to be exact.
$300 is what we've had. In fact, I've taken a pay cut because I used to have an allowance of $3,000 that when times were really difficult, I got rid of it. So I've actually had a pay cut during that time, but, I go back to, I think my opening statement is that if we had a balanced budget, if I could go to the voters, to the taxpayers, say, look, we have a balanced budget. We're getting $16 million, but we're spending $60 million. Right now, we're spending 16.8, but we're only receiving or drawing in 15 million. And then just say to the voters, well, I can balance the budget if I raise the tax rate, which we're very close to reaching our limit, our state law limit. So that's not really an option. It's just very difficult to say, okay, we're gonna increase our elected officials given the condition of the county. And that's why I struggled. I said, okay, do I include the $1,000 that everybody got and at least do that for the elected officials? I just decided it's hard for me to justify it, to explain it to the average taxpayer to say, okay, why are you giving yourself a raise when you know the condition the county is in?
I know the condition, but Judge, the world is in a horrible condition, you know, and I'm part of that world. And, you know, and I struggle, excuse me, 354 is nothing, you know, when I looked around at surrounding counties and I called and we're way below what the other district clerks, county clerks, you know, commissioners even receive. And I understand, maybe they're in a better situation than we are, but I have to come out.
It comes down to that.
You
It
know?
comes down to their financial condition. Certainly, we had the oil wealth and the gas wealth that
And
we.
there's nowhere else that can be cut that you can look at, other positions that can be cut that are not needed, where we can get a little bit of
I
relief here.
think if you go to every department, they're gonna say, I need more personnel. Of course, beginning in 2011, we eliminated or cut almost more than 200 positions, so.
And I know we're doing, thank goodness that our employees were able to get this OLS, even if it's temporary, and I'm so
Yeah.
happy for them, you know, because
Yes.
they deserve it also. And I did ask for, some things with OLS, even a car, guys, I asked for a car, so please approve my card. For the county clerks, for the tax office to go to conferences, because that, we do discuss OLS when we go. But anyway, I needed to come and ask for a raise for me. And then I guess that the other elected officials also, I know that I talked to a couple and they,
Yeah, everybody.
fight for me, you know. But anyway, I'm just here to ask for that. I had to do it and see where I could get with it. If I don't, but I'm here.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Anybody next? Danny? Yes, I guess I'm gonna have to call on you. I don't have volunteers, but we'll just draft them. Danny, thank you, Danny.
Hello, good morning,
Good
Judge.
morning.
Good morning, Commissioners.
What page are you on, Dan?
Page 24 for the fire department. had met at the workshops, Judge, on the line item for uniforms, we did discuss on what we've all been saying today, this morning, an increase in, everything went up. So I did ask the judge if we can increase the uniforms. The guys and girls from my department get $350 a year for uniforms.
Yes.
And that is in today's day is not enough for the uniforms that they use. So I asked the judge, instead of them getting the $350, getting $500 per.
Will that cover it? Cause we went up to 14.5 on the.
Yes, no, I'm just explaining like.
Oh, okay, like, is that good enough? Yeah.
Yes, so
Okay.
it's gonna go from 9,750 to 14,500, and that's gonna give them the extra 150.
Yeah.
Also, on the repairs and maintenance, Judge, we had spoken about this one too. Right now, we are dealing with an aging fleet. We were blessed enough to get those 2 van type units, but we normally run 3, which is never enough. 3 units is never enough. And like we have discussed before, even if we had 5 or 6, it still will never be enough. But 2 is still, pushing the limits to our capabilities.
Yeah.
We do have those other aging units, but on the repairs, our funds deplete almost immediately as soon as we.
Where are we on the 2 new units?
We're the same, we just had we are CC'd with Roxy and Mr. Esser, Ryan, the vendor. And last I spoke with him, we did change, because initially we had purchased 2 Dodges. And they were having an issue with the chassis, and with the other brands as well, Chevy and Ford. But Ryan did assure us that if we were to change to Ford from Dodge, it would make the process a tad faster.
Okay.
But here we are almost 2 years later, and we still haven't done the chassis for them. So we still have those 2 units that I mentioned that the county did purchase, the van types. But we normally try and run at least 3. But the other units that we have, they just keep on breaking down. We just patch them up, get them ready, they keep going.
Well, you're gonna have to
a
do
week
that.
later, and here we are again. So I had asked you, Judge, if we can increase this one, basically double it to 56 from 28,000. I believe on the
We
proposed
were
budget.
at repairs and maintenance went from 33 to 45. Repair.
I have from 28 to 50, well, the proposal was 56.
But I was looking at the turnout, the wildland gear, of course, OLS now is allowing
Yes.
EMS, so I know you requested a considerable amount of funding, so maybe those monies could be shifted.
We can.
So I think more than likely will be approved for
Yes,
that.
we can, as long as it gets approved, of course, and if it doesn't, then we'll be configuring that amount again.
Yeah, so you'll have those extra to transfer to help keep your fleet going. I know it's difficult, and we may have to purchase out of our fund balance another unit, that if you find another one similar, that
I mean, we can do a van type that would be more reasonable in pricing, because the box types, the ones that we did order out, and we're still waiting, and those are the ones we normally do purchase for the department. Those are already getting close to 300,000 per unit, when they used to be around 100 and some.
I know.
So those are now about 300 to 320, 30,000, depending on the unit. But those van types that we did purchase, we were able to get them, I believe, were 189 more or less.
Okay.
So, I don't know if it'd be wise for the county to budget for this year, just in case, those other 2 units that were run to the grant take more time to budget at least for one of those van types. I mean, we don't have to purchase it, because those, they have an abundance of them. We can place an order today and we'll get it within 3 weeks. So,
Okay.
I don't know, we can manage to hold off a little, but as long as the county wants to budget for it, just in case we do need that extra unit, in case those other 2 units take a
So
little
that
while.
would be under capital outlay, so how much you say were 70?
These last ones were, yes, they were, I'm sorry, they were 89. So they were, I didn't bring the actual.
That's fine, so we can go with 89.
Judge, OLS doesn't cover emergency management
No.
vehicles?
Not the vehicles.
No vehicles, no, yeah, we tried.
The equipment.
But the equipment, we will be able to hopefully bring in all your medical gear, EKGs, so all
Yeah,
that.
the fire stuff as well.
Yes, so it'll be very helpful, but vehicles are not allowed.
No.
So Judge, on this one, it would be under capital outlay?
Yes.
89,000?
Oh, and,
For,
on the other one, on the emergency emergency management and fire marshal department, page 45.
Page 45.
That one on the fire marshal deputy DA TFO, Mr. Molina did resign from our department.
Okay, so yeah, we had included him on there, right?
Yes.
Yeah, 39.
Okay, I got you. So,
So on that one, Judge, as we had previously spoken, I have asked before last year as well for a position for an assistant chief.
yes.
And we do not have currently an assistant chief, it's just myself. And I had spoken to the judge to see if it's possible to leave this position, this slot, but transfer it from the fire marshal's office to the fire department and into a assistant chief's position.
What position is that, Chief?
Right now, it's under emergency management / fire marshal,
Yeah.
page 45.
The DEA
And
TFO.
The fire marshal, the deputy / DA TFO.
39 salary?
Yes.
That was another, that's the salary it is right now, but I was gonna ask the court if it's possible we can increase that salary, because anybody in the department that would be getting that position, it's not gonna be an outsider, it will be somebody within the department, so as soon as that position gets filled, it does a trickle effect where it does open up a position at the very bottom of the chain. So we will be able to hire somebody else, as an EMT, or paramedic. But, going back to what I was mentioning, whoever we decide, we do have people in mind, whoever we decide to get this position, has been at least there for over 15, 16
And
years.
what would be the salary you're requesting?
Well, we're requesting 45, I'm requesting 45 from 38 to 45, because anybody who were to get it is a
39, right?
significant pay cut.
From 39 to 45?
Yes, sir.
6,000.
But we'd be removing the overtime too, right?
Yes, Judge, the overtime will be removed.
We had 19,000 allocated for overtime.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
So that,
We'll remove
So that
that.
would-
There's a
that will be
savings,
removed.
there's a savings there.
Yes, Commissioner.
13 savings.
So it's a net decrease, 13,000.
13,000.
All right,
Also, Judge and Commissioners, as we had spoken, myself and the judge in the previous time, I had also asked for, well, technically I had asked for 3 additional slots, but we do have 2 vacant slots that we will, I was speaking to the judge that those 3 additional slots that I was going to request was 1 per shift. We do run three shifts. And I was gonna request 3 additional slots of just EMT basics. Right now, an EMT basic, in order for somebody to get employment with our department, at bare minimum, you have to be an EMT basic / firefighter. We don't have EMT basic slots. Or you have to be a paramedic. That is an associate's degree, it's a 2-year degree. It is very easy for us to fill a spot for an EMT basic versus an EMT basic / firefighter or a paramedic. I do have people that are willing to work, and because we are still, not that we're short-staffed, it's just that the call volume has increased. We do find ourselves, that the station is empty at times for over an hour to 2 hours, and that's because of staffing, not because, we have people that are out, it's just the increase of calls that we've been getting. So I agree with the judge, if, instead of those 3, we are willing to accept 1 slot for an EMT basic. And the other 2 that we have vacant, the paramedic slots, but I can't fill them up for EMT basic slots. So we can have all those 3 positions
so,
filled.
but basically, if you promote someone, that'll leave that.
Yes, that will leave another one, but like I mentioned, I did ask for 3, so we went down to 1, and this one would give us that second one.
Okay, so 1 additional EMT.
1 additional EMT basic slot
At what-
at a rate of, it is $12.86 per hour.
Can you figure it out with the benefits?
Yeah, we'll have that, for the next
For the next.
when the court decides to, whether or not to.
Yes, of course.
But yeah, we will, that's fine.
Okay, and, almost done, Judge.
Okay.
I was also gonna ask for a raise for throughout the board in my department, all personnel, for an increase of $1 per hour. We're still having that issue with retention and mainly on the medics, but.
Well, I don't think that'll ever stop.
No, of
we're
course
never,
not, of
I mean,
course.
they are getting a raise like
Yeah, they
everyone
are,
else.
but I just thought that, I just wanted to also include that for $1 per hour throughout the board in my department, including all medics, EMTs, firefighters, one administrative staff.
And you figure how much is that gonna cost?
No, sir, I can come.
You just can't come out here and
Yeah,
say
no,
that.
definitely, I can come
Yeah,
back
you know.
for next one in
So how many
September.
employees is that?
We are 29.
So that's an extra probably 70,000, 80,000. So, yeah, I mean, we try in the budget, I try to be fair, but then we get these requests that certainly you didn't speak to me about that. And that is disappointing, that you come in here and try to surprise.
No, we did speak.
Yeah,
about
we
the
did
rate.
not talk about, we said it was gonna be across the board, and you said you were fine with it?
I have it here, Judge, this is when I
Yes.
spoke to you.
Yes, but I told you that that was not, that last year, they did receive across the board, in addition to, your department received it, and it's fine. But I think what we get down to is, can we afford to continue to do this time and again? And, certainly that's disappointing to come out here and surprise me with that. Try to help your department in every aspect.
No, we're thankful, and you
Yes.
guys have always helped out.
Yeah.
Not tried. You
Yeah,
guys
but then you
always-
come out here and ask for more. Okay, that's it, okay, then.
Also, Judge, on the one, we had spoken for the Texas MyGov on the, but I'm thinking that would be on the fire, on the emergency management, the notification system for the county, to notify our constituents.
Well, yeah, that would be a good system, but you need to pick and choose. What do you want? I mean, you wanna have it all? Can you include that in OLS? Have you thought about that?
We can check.
Okay, check
We can
it out.
Yep.
All right.
And that's it. Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, Chief.
Well, I just went ahead and put it in writing what I'm gonna say. Good morning. It's just the same, what we had discussed in the other, and the other resolutions. And I figured it out. Cause good morning. We had talked about the last commission's court about, fixing this because of the increase on the 2024 is like $25,000 instead of 25,734. And if we keep the same amount from 2023 for the indigent care, for the contract, I can be able to use those
Right.
25,000 in.
And certainly that is, I think, very doable. We can,
Yes.
this year we spent, and maybe you can use even number.
An even number?
Even, like we have 527,618.
Well, because I left it the same, that's why, but we can do
So I'll
that.
just.
Yes, we can
Do
leave it
527,000,
Yes.
and that way the difference,
We
we
can
can
basically,
certainly.
I do need it in the state, because in the state, in the Indian state, that's where I use most of the monies, which is the medical and the medications. So that's where I have only, 10,000, so I would like to put 20,000 in there, which will make it 30,000.
So those money will divide it,
They'll be
so
divided
from
there.
that 553 to 527, that's 27,000 almost, yes.
Yes,
So
yes.
those, we will increase your indigent care county to 30,000.
The state, because the county is already on 20,000, which is
So that's good enough.
That's good enough.
So the state will go
The
to,
state has to go a little bit higher, which is.
so we'll go to
20
37?
37 will be fine.
Okay,
And then, the turf, I actually put 2,000 in there.
okay.
So, because I really need, there's a lot of people in need sometimes, and I usually use, that's the one I use the least, but in case of emergencies for electricity and one and all that. You can see in the bottom of it, then I have a total of 30,734, which out of the 27,000 is left. Well, we can pay with that one, supplies or travel, where you wanna put it. Cause I know salaries is not a good thing. It's been no for everybody. So, whatever you
It's
think.
just, I mean,
Yeah.
salaries are important, I
Yeah,
agree,
they
and
are
that's why
important.
we are
Yes.
including them in our, even in a deficit budget, we wanna help our employees.
Yes, yes.
But there is a limit, Patty, to the type
Yes,
what taxpayers can pay.
exactly.
And we've reached that limit.
Yeah.
Actually, the state allows us 80 cents for M&O and INS. That's it, that's all we can
Yes.
tax. We are about 6 cents away from reaching the limit where we have no way of bringing in additional revenue. And that's things that we, as a judge, I need to consider and say, yes, it's very easy to say yes, I want to give everybody, but.
But it's gonna be, we don't know how next year's gonna be.
Exactly.
So, I'm here with people, and that's why I divided that into the state, the turf, and whatever's, you wanna put a little bit more in my general supplies, because I do use a lot of paper, so, 2,000 is a little bit,
Okay.
under what I need. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank
Patty.
you.
Hey Jesse, come on.
I'll make this easy. I don't have any issues with the proposed budget.
I appreciate it, Jesse, thank you for the job you do, man.
Thank you, Jesse.
Judge, I forgot to add, out of the records management, this is no change to, no addition to the general fund. It's what, I want the one position for a total of 23,286, which includes the.
But do
bridge
we even
permits.
include it in the budget?
Huh? It's just a formality.
Yeah.
Okay, and another position for 30 hours, which is 16,338 for a total of 39,624, and I do have the money.
Yeah, but we're not including in the
No,
budget.
no, no, it's just a formality
Okay,
for,
that's
you know.
fine. Yeah, those, of course you have discretion with those funds.
Yes.
And, yes,
Yeah,
Judge James?
but I just wanted to
Yeah,
let y'all know that I'm gonna do that.
She has discretion as to how she can utilize them, and so. if
Yeah,
that's-
we wanna try to scan as much as we
I
can.
think that would be a great project if we finish scanning.
Yes, I know that 10 years ago, and you know, $39,000 is nothing, because about 10 years ago, I asked for a quote, and the company wanted, 10 years ago, they wanted $250,000 to
Yeah,
scan
very
like 3 years
expensive,
worth.
but I think that should be a goal to get.
That-
to
that is
scan,
my
to
goal.
digitize every
Yes.
document that we-
Yes, it would make our life so much easier.
Okay, very well. Good. Hey, Ms. Becky, good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, ma'am.
I'll make it easier for you. I like the budget proposal. Thank you for giving us a little bit more books, because books are very expensive.
Yes, I know. So,
Everything looks good.
and your staff did receive the adjustment, like, cost of living adjustment, as everyone.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Becky.
Morning, Judge.
Morning.
Morning, Commissioners. Like Mr. Jesse, I don't have any additional changes, so I just, as soon as the budget, so I'll just,
Yeah.
we'll just propose it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, Rob.
I think that's it, Judge. Mr. Sparks.
Commissioners, I guess maybe on your end, any changes for your budget? Martin, you're okay? Okay. Laura?
Okay.
Okay. I think one change, I see Eric over there, one thing that, and I don't know if y'all noticed in the budget, my department went up. Erica was on her own in a non-department, kind of, so I brought her under as a bailiff, security, courthouse security, under my budget, with her salary, but she's just moving from non-department, to, it's no increase in any amount, but I thought it might be better suited, as for bookkeeping, to keep her under a department.
Well, and we shifted her from security courthouse over to the general.
Yeah.
So that was.
so that, I did do that. On another note, we did have one, new position added in the proposed budget, and that was, for the county, the community center. So we have a part-time employee there, so she is coming in as a full-time employee. And to make up for that, we have a retiring maintenance supervisor, from the county courthouse. And I decided that I think we can do that internally. We have the staff that, was under her is very well trained, and they do a lot of work, and some of the contracts and some of the contact information, we can do it out of my office, and so I did not include, that position to be filled as the maintenance supervisor for the county courthouse. So we kind of brought in one full-time, but we kind of saved some money there. It's difficult. I think in the future, we do have some projects that are coming into, to the county that should help our I guess, tax revenues in the future. But as of now, I think, just seeing what the water, works did, where their revenues actually went down, it should be a sign to all of us that, this community is struggling, we're struggling, and I certainly, should take that into account.
We might also see a significant impact, Judge, in the arm ordinance revenue.
Yes,
for the
that
following
is-
year, that's gonna be a significant blow also. to the
That
revenue.
is certainly a very precarious position to be every year. We've been fortunate to kind of bring in the revenues that we budget, but, from one year to the next, we can go straight to zero. I know they're opening, they're allowing, from my understanding, machines in the valley of Stark County, so, yes, that is something that, was on my mind as we were, figuring the budget, and preparing the proposed budget. That is a very volatile revenue source.
I guess give thanks to the people that are still here, helping us out in that.
That's a very volatile revenue source that, we're depending on, so yeah, that $1 million that we budgeted could be, non-existent when it's time to collect in July. We were fortunate this year to collect what we budgeted, but it is volatile. Anybody else?
Judge, there was one, I received a call from Sandy, in the juvenile probation, page 29. And I don't know if it was just a misunderstanding or, what, under her contract services, we lowered it to 9.2, and I believe it should have stayed at 16,005.
18.5.
I'm sure that was a typo, I mean,
So I just wanted to make that correction. I
Well,
don't
I might
have.
have requested that, I believe, right, we went down?
Yeah. She was supposed to meet with me,
Well,
but I didn't.
yeah, because she was gonna see an increase in her grant, so I might have misunderstood as to, her funding source.
Yeah, and-
But if she's requesting it, then,
Yeah,
it's
and-
at 18.5 this year, so.
So it'll be an additional 9,300.
Yeah. She was supposed to meet with me, I guess maybe sometime this week, and go over that change.
On the Senate Bill 22, our county attorney, who is also in line to receive funding, if the court, approves, the grant application, the county attorney has requested, this $175,000, to, add an additional administrative assistant at $35,000, an additional investigator at $53,000, and then he has office supplies and equipment for $20,000, and vehicle maintenance, miscellaneous expense of $20,000, and travel, continued education of $15,000, law enforcement equipment and supplies of $25,000, and then case management of $7,000, and that would, budget the whole $175,000 that, the grant would be. So we'll be including that in, I guess for the 11th meeting, along with, to see what direction the state controller gives us on what to do with the sheriff's department on his $350,000. So that'll probably be included as an additional. And I think overall, this will help our budget, if it's approved, and the state agrees to fund us. A lot of these are I guess duplicates. We budget a lot of supplies, and so I think we may be able to save some money on the county side by spending all our supplies out of the grant funding. So I think the sheriff does that already a lot, so
Yes, sir.
we can save some money there. I don't, Commissioners, on your road and bridge, I know we added a mechanic. I think there was a need. We know there's a need for a mechanic to do maybe oil changes, simple things that we might not be able to have to contract out. But it did affect to some extent your road construction funds. We had, this year, y'all had 50,000 to spend on roads, which is very minimal, I know. But we had to lower that to 40,000 to be able to balance the budget, because we have revenues of 1,751,562, and that includes a lot of our JP revenue accounts that have been going down as the number of delinquent accounts have been, taken care of, and total expenditures of $1,746,812. So we have about a $3,000 difference in, we have a balanced budget there because we basically don't have a fund balance to save us. And I did not want, we've got a $200,000 fund balance, but these JP revenues can be very, I guess, not secure. I mean, I did come down for JP1, and I base myself on the revenues that we're seeing on those treasury report on a monthly basis. So, this year we had budgeted 150,000 in revenues from precinct 1. I don't think we're gonna get there, so I'm budgeting 100,000, being more realistic. And the JP2 went from 150 to 120. JP3, this year we were hoping to receive 51,000. I think we're around 30,000, so that's what I put, 35,000 as the expected revenue. And JP Precinct 4, I had budgeted 65. We're pretty close to that, so I budgeted 60,000. So I don't want to throw numbers out there and say, okay, we've got all this money coming in, when in reality, we probably won't bring it in. So we have a balanced budget in our road and bridge, but it's slim. And I guess the waterworks, we went over that. But I think our interest in sinking, we're good there, and we were able to bring in some of the sewer plant loans. And the reason we were able to do that, we did have a spike in values this year, and mainly we had last year we had a spike in the values of natural gas prices, and this year, as we've seen, they went way down. So we actually increased about $50 million in values, but mainly due to minerals. So next year we'll probably see that come down again because the price of natural gas certainly has been down. And then we'll just hopefully wait for those pilots, those projects. There's, I think, the solar project that should be getting started at the end of this year, which should provide substantial employment, temporary employment for a lot of folks here in town, and then bring in some additional revenues for the county to be able to do everything we'd love to do, and just really can't afford to do it. I don't have anything else. Commissioners, anything else?
Is this the time to ask for like OLS?
OLS has been submitted, and we had that discussion, so those budgets have been submitted to the state. We don't know, and we had a pretty healthy increase from our current year to what we're requesting for the next budget year. Hopefully they'll all be approved, and a lot of it is it's mainly in law enforcement, so the sheriff department is the main beneficiary of that. On the prosecution side, we are adding some additional requests. I think, do we have that budget that we submitted, Brian?
Not at the moment, but I can get a copy of that. And I'm kind of seeing as part of the proposed budget, but Can it be modified throughout?
We
the year?
can,
it be
throughout the
adjusted
year, we can
throughout the year?
amend it. So we wanna wait to see if it's approved, and then if there's additional requests, we can certainly request amendments within the amount that was allocated to us. Like, we can't increase the amount,
Right.
but we can spend less on something and more on another. We can shift monies around.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn, Judge.
All right, motion to adjourn, and, the court will decide on September the 11th meeting, on our regular Commissioners Court meeting, where we'll take all the requests into consideration and vote at them at that time.